Torq has a library of 10 different effects built right in for you to use right out of the box. There are 3 effect slots on each deck, so you can have up to 3 of these effects running at any given time on each song. So that's a total of 6 effects running total in your mix all at once if you really wanted to do that. Now, I'm going to go through each effect one at a time here to explain how each one of them works. All you do is start by clicking on this empty box and choosing an effect from the drop-down list. The first one here is a delay. And as soon as I load this up, Torq automatically switches the insert send mode to send because you'll just only want to send additional signal into the delay while leaving your original song in place. And you'll find that every effect does that. When you load it up, it will either set it to an insert or to a send, depending on the primary use for that effect. But you are still allowed to go ahead and click that button and switch the modes if you want to do some other like creative special effects where maybe you replace all the music with just reverb. You would switch it to insert. And I'll show you some examples of that as we go through here. The way the effects work is that we've honed the effects down to the most important parameters that you're going to need. A lot of effects, if you've ever used any plugins before in a DAW, you know that there are sometimes 10, 20, 30 different parameters that you can adjust just for one effect. When you're DJing, you don't really have time for that kind of thing, and typically the acoustics in the club or wherever aren't good enough to really have any of those minute adjustments be worth anything. So you'll find that you only have 2 parameters to adjust on each effect, and those are the ones that you really need to begin with. When looking at this screen, the column of buttons on the very left side enables the effect, turns it on and off. The knob right next to it is the send amount, or if you have the effect in insert mode, will adjust the wet-dry mix between the original song and all of the effects. Right next to that is the insert mode. There's insert, and there's send. And then right here is a little picture of the effect that's currently being used. Now these 2 controls here on the right, this knob and this button, are what actually control the parameters of the effect. And these parameters will change depending on what effect you have loaded up. In the case of the delay, the knob will control feedback, and the button will create a tap tempo for the delay. So for example, I'm going to start this song going here. And as I turn up the send amount, we're going to start hearing a delay. Okay, so that's an 1/8 note delay right there. Using this button, I can tap a new tempo for the delay, and Torq will always quantize that delay amount to the nearest 16th note based on the tempo that it's detected for the song. So if I tap quarter notes, now I get a quarter note delay. There's a dotted 1/8 note delay. I can go all the way up to 16th note, and I can actually get out to a full bar in length on the delay. So you can actually change the tempo on the fly very easily just by tapping some new tempos. And every time it'll always be perfectly in sync with the music. You can also turn up the feedback amount in order to hang a delay over. And in fact, you can turn feedback up beyond 100% to actually get those regenerative kind of delays that start getting louder and louder as they continue to come around. So that's a basic description of the delay. Next on our list is reverb. You can see this one has a little different icon that kind of looks like the tail of audio fading away, indicating that it's a reverb. So this time, when I turned up the send, we start layering a very short reverb on top of the music. This knob right here is the reverb time. So as I turn this up, we get longer tails on the reverbs. And finally, this button over here on the right is the freeze. As soon as I click this button, it's going to hold whatever is currently in the reverb buffer and extend it infinitely. So this is a great way to cover a silent section. So even if I were to stop the music, we can still hear the reverb hanging here. And as soon as I turn off the freeze, the reverb decays at whatever rate is set with the reverb time.